everyone. Mark Hackel, Macomb County Executive. I'm here with Sheriff Tony Wickersham, and we're talking about some of the issues, in particular dealing with high water levels here on Lake St. Clair. But again, it's an issue people are dealing with all across the Great Lakes here. And again, Lake St. Clair is our Great Lake, and I say that because it is the busiest freshwater lake than any other in the entire country during the summer months. But with that, we're fortunate. We got an incredible marine safety program. In fact, one of the largest in the entire state right here that Tony runs and operates and does a great job. But we're running into a little bit of a problem like everyone else, even private homeowners, with this rising water concern.
Yep, we are at a record level of the water here out on Lake St. Clair. This started at last summer, where we saw that the water level was rising. Some of the issues with the boathouse and with the docks, as you can see, we're standing on a dock here. This dock had to be put in because the dock we used over the last few years is underwater right now because of the high levels.
And so you had an actual dock put on top of the dock here.
Right. As you can see, it's underwater, and the more you go on out to get onto the boat, it's probably a good 2-3 feet underwater. That water level is there.
So our facilities operations people had to come out here and physically put in another dock. What is these? These look like 2x8s or something?
Yeah, 2x8s, and we've got this dock here and then the dock there. So, you know, the deputies, when we're coming, can get on the boats without any difficulty. That was really one of the main things.
And these boats, normally, they're out here pretty much succumbing to the elements on a 24-hour basis, because normally some of them should be in the actual wells over there.
Right.
But they can't fit.
They can't fit, as you can see, all of the electronics, the radar.
The height on this one here?
The height, right. They just can't get into the boathouse because of the high water level that we can get them in and dock them in covered areas. So we have to leave them out here. That's our only option at this point.
And I see we did some of the sandbagging here too.
Yep.
And so this was done by the staff, or who did a lot of the sandbagging?
Well, we had the staff come out at the Marine Division. A lot of reserves came out and helped, but we also brought in trustees from the jail. When we had a lot of trustees still in the jail before COVID, they came on out and sandbagged, and this was kind of really our main concern at this point because of that water level, and it keeps pushing. You know, we're 10 feet from the boathouse where all the operations, electronic equipment, computers, radios are right behind this wall, and this water keeps going and getting in there, we're going to have a problem.
And this building has been here for decades. I mean, it's in dire need of kind of a new renovation, I guess, if you will, and or kind of a demolition and kind of a new structure. We're still trying to figure out how do we work through that with finances, but in the meantime, we need to protect the asset we currently have, and you're looking to put up some type of a seawall in and around this area and even into the boat wells, correct?
Right. Last year we came in and we had a company come on out and give us an estimate for what a seawall. We're talking almost 300 feet, a little less than 300 feet, to build it up and protect the boathouse. They came back with an estimate of about $300,000 to put a proper seawall along here and into the boat wells where we can go back and park the boats.
Yeah. And interesting enough, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about, there's a new, if you will, opportunity for us to get some of that funded by the federal government. And when I say that, you know, there's this fund available that's been around since, God, I think it was 1980, where we have an opportunity to go after some federal dollars, but it's got to be done through the Army Corps of Engineers and get support of the Army Corps before we can move, a local Army Corps, before we can move forward at a federal level. And the governor has just gave recognition to 2 projects. They reviewed many across the state, but they gave the approval of one somewhere out in Lake Michigan, and your project here is the other one that was submitted to go forward for that funding.
Yeah, the Advanced Measures Program, we submitted our project last year. Really what it does is it says, look, if you've got to protect your boathouse, you have rising waters.
But for government properties.
Government properties, yes, it is government.
I can see some of the folks
we don't want to say
private owners,
but this is,
and we wish we had some funding for that.
To help them out too, because there are some, as you drive here, you see the sandbags.
It's terrible what they're dealing with.
Yeah, you know, the private home. But this one it's a government building. But prior to being able to get this award, you have to do everything you can to try and mitigate that problem. And you can see the sandbags. That's what we've done. I think we've exhausted all our means Marines. We've been in consultation with the Army Corps of Engineers also.
So in the upside to this for the taxpayers is this is federal funds that are going to go to some project throughout the entire country, but fortunately this one that we're looking for is about a $300,000, I guess if you will, temporary fix, which should last about 20 years. But that temporary fix would cost about $300,000 of, I guess, kind of county funds if we decided to do this. We are trying to figure out how to move forward with it, but that advanced measures funding would provide 75% of the cost. They would actually cover 75% of the cost. So $300,000, they'll probably be picking up $275,000 or $225,000. We'd be having to pick up
$75,000, and that is huge. It's, if you look at the different boats we have, we went after these boats all with grants, looking to save Macomb County taxpayers money to help us in our mission. And again, it's we don't apply for these grants because we want things. We apply because we need things. And this is a need for the Sheriff's Office Marine Division.
And you're not going to get it unless you make your case, and you've done that. I mean, you've done a great job of making the case for these particular, if you will, boats. Again, this is not only just a boat, but the technology that's kind of employed in each one of these. Great opportunity to go forward with the grant. You made your case, did a great job with that. That's why I'm comfortable realizing you're making a heck of a case here for this particular situation to protect a government building on the waterway because of the water levels. I have a feeling we're probably going to get that support from the federal government, and when we do, we're going to make an announcement about that because we're saving about $225,000 to help shore up the shoreline here for the Boathouse.
That is our goal.
Well, you're fortunate. I mean, not only do you have a great, I guess, if you will, supply of equipment and boats out here, whatever, you got a workforce that's kind of a force multiplier with the reserves. And these are folks that are, if you will, kind of like what we see with the National Guard. Folks that have other jobs and yet they still contribute. On a kind of on a federal level, on a local level. You got these folks that are just from every walk of life here in the community that donate their time to be part of the Marine Safety Program. And I got to tell you, about 100 people volunteering to do some of the stuff they do is pretty incredible.
Yeah, we have 100 MSOs that come on out on their own time, and they help out at the boathouse. They get on the boats, and it's again our force multiplier. So we're able to put as many boats as possible out there to help and keep eyes and watch what's happening out there. So it's a great program, and they do everything. They're dedicated.
I mean, it's like I remember Jimmy Cowan. I mean, I started when I first started. Jimmy was there working, and he was a paraprofessional. Kind of a dispatcher. Worked his way up through the ranks, became lieutenant, and he's out here washing boats. He's already retired, by the way. Yeah. He's been retired for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
Yet he's out here volunteering his time, and again, they're out here sandbagging, doing the things that they do. You know what? Hats off to them for wanting to be part of what goes on in the law enforcement community. But who wouldn't want to be part of this community, especially the boating industry? I mean, these folks are fantastic working out here.
Not only do they want to give back to the community, they want to be part of the Sheriff's Office. A lot of the people that are part of the MSO program are avid boaters, so they know the lake, they know how to navigate, they know the rules.
And they know how to operate these boats.
They know how to operate, yeah.
Sometimes they teach some of the officers that work inside to want to work out here how to do that.
I mean, new deputies that come on out,
they train them.
Got to go through a training program. And majority of the time, it's an MSO that's showing them how to operate it. Yeah,
I tried to convince Tony to let me ride one of the wave runners after our little program here, but I don't know that that's forthcoming. I think I've been kind of set aside on that. But anyway, someday I'll talk him into it again. It was one of my favorite things to do back in the day. So, but again, I want to thank Sheriff Wickersham for his efforts, not only continuing to be out there and engaging with the community during this COVID crisis, because they have been. None of this has stopped, but also his efforts in trying to figure out how does he save taxpayers' money by going after federal money and bringing our money back home. So credit to Tony for what he's doing out there and making sure that we're safe, but also finding a way of making sure that it's economical for the things that we need to do here. So in the meantime, I want to once again thank you for tuning in. Continue to use macombgov.org as your information resource, and continue to keep you and your family safe. But if you get a moment, you got to come out here at some point in time and enjoy this beautiful asset we have here. I mean, this is one heck of a quality of life asset we've got here in Macomb County, and an economic industry that is a driver here for the county as well. So thank you again for tuning in.